Hey everybody, it's Eric from EPautos.com, your libertarian car guy. I wanted to show you something and tell you a little bit about it. So here, I'm going to pan down. You can see the steering wheel here, and you can probably see that little rectangular sort of a thing that's on top of the steering wheel column with the flashing lights. Interestingly, you can't see the flashing lights when you look at it with your eyes, but for whatever reason, they do show up when you do a video of it. Anyway, what was I looking at? What were you seeing there? Well, that is the eye movement monitor that's in this 25 Ford Explorer, and it's in a lot of other new cars. I think soon it's going to be as common as automatic stop-start technology, our favorite thing, AS, and all of these advanced driver assistance technologies that you can't opt out of because they've been made standard. Well, this is one of them. I'm not a fan. Why am I not a fan? I don't like being monitored while I'm driving. You know, and they seem to be doing this piecemeal, just a little bit at a time. Kind of like the old frog in the pot analogy. Turn up the water just a little bit. You know, the frog is not going to do anything when the water's nice and warm. Maybe he gets a little bit edgy once the water starts to get hot, but by the time it's boiling, the frog is already cooked, right? Very, very difficult to do anything about it once you've gotten to that point. Well, that's how I see these eye monitor systems. You know, initially they're being presented to you as, oh, you know, it's kind of benign, don't worry about it. It's a good way to let you know that it's time to take a break and stop to take a cup of coffee or something like that. Of course, it's really nothing of the kind. You know, it is about monitoring you, looking at you while you're driving. Do you like that idea? You like the idea of being monitored by your car? Now, I know that there are some people out there who think, safety! I see something quite different. Whenever I hear that word, I hear control, I hear busybodyism, I hear peremptory parenting, I hear assuming that you're an idiot before you've done anything to establish that you are. I keep my eyes on the road. I don't need a car to monitor my eye movements. These systems are you know, very, very parenting, and in a way that really has nothing to do, again, with safety. You know, I also ride motorcycles. I've been riding motorcycles for a very long time. And one of the things that I learned about riding a motorcycle that's kept me from being dead is to scan my environment, to not just get tunnel vision and look straight ahead. So I have a habit of looking to the left, looking to the right, looking to my rear, and then looking ahead. So I move my head around. Now, the way these systems are designed in the cars, you know, if you're not constantly looking straight ahead, if you look to your left and look to your right for more than a few seconds in a lot of cases, these things, you know, they'll start to bark warnings at you about sit up, eyes on the road, stare straight ahead. Now, that is just annoying, right? It's annoying. But what happens when your car is connected to the insurance mafia or the government? Effectively, they already are, by the way. That's a whole other subject. But anyway, so the car says, oh, you're not looking at the road. And ding, you get hit for inattentive driving, let's say. And your insurance premium goes up because they say, whoa, you were driving unsafely. You took your eyes off the road. We've got the record of it right here. This is the sort of thing that's coming piece by piece by piece. You know, other examples of it include these automated emergency braking. It goes by a variety of different names. But if you've experienced it, you know, you'll find you're driving along in a perfectly reasonable, perfectly safe way, but the car thinks it's imperative that you stop or slow down, and you'll get this thing flashed on the screen that says brake, brake, often accompanied by like bright lights and claxons. And you know, if you can see where they'll say, oh, if you didn't apply the brakes, the car says you should have. Once again, it shows that you're somehow an unsafe driver. Piece by piece, they're doing this. They're going to take utter control away from you. You know, you'll be nothing more than a kind of, you remember, this is an old reference, but there was an old Arnold movie, I can't remember what it was, Total Recall. So there's these things called Johnny Cabs. You know, Arnold gets in the Johnny Cab, and it's like the upper torso of a guy who's not a guy. It's like a robot, and the robot is driving the car. And, you know, Arnold ends up getting frustrated with it, ripping the thing's head off and throwing it out the window. And that was very gratifying and satisfying, but we're not going to be able to do that. The thing will just shut down. You know, they are erecting this thing piece by piece. They're getting people used to it. You know, first step, included in every car. Get people, well, the car just says, car brakes, car does this, car does that. And then they'll turn it on, and then you will have zero control anymore over your car. You'll just get to sit there like a meat sack while the car takes you very safely to wherever you're wanting to go, assuming that the car allows you to go. And again, I know there are people out there who will say, I'm paranoid, that'll never happen. Really? Think about what's happened to us over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. Think about what these people will do, or are wanting to do, or just itching to do, and clearly are planning to do. Else, why would they be putting all this stuff in the cars? This advanced driver assistance technology. I don't know a single person, and I'm a car journalist. I've got a pretty big following. Lots of people email me. I know lots of people. And I've yet to find one person who says, yeah, I really like the advanced driver assistance technology. I love my lane keep assist. I love my automatic emergency braking and all the beeps and buzzers and all of this stuff. I love it. In fact, I know a lot of people who say, I'd happily pay extra to not have it. And, if these things were optional, how many people would buy it? How many people buy wheelchairs? I'm not slamming people who can't walk or who need assistance walking because they got some physical problem. There's nothing wrong with that. But imagine being forced to buy a wheelchair if you're perfectly ambulatory. You have no problem walking. You got to buy a wheelchair, or you have to have a cane and carry that cane with you everywhere. Isn't that how advanced driver assistance technology works? If you can drive, you don't need assistance by definition. Only people who can't drive require assistance. Anyway, more up at EPautos.com, the web's best libertarian gearhead site. Thanks to everybody for listening, and we will have more for you again soon.